The sun hung low above the concrete walls of Black Ridge Federal Penitentiary, one of the most feared high-security prisons in the United States. Its cold towers, lined with razor-sharp barbed wire, sliced the sky like steel claws. Inside the yard, hundreds of hardened inmates, men tattooed with symbols of violence, brotherhood, and blood, stood in a tight formation. Their blue uniforms contrasted sharply with the pale concrete below their feet. But the center of attention was not them, it was her. A woman stood alone, hands cuffed behind her back, wearing a torn maroon inmate jumpsuit. Her long dark hair fluttered gently in the humid Texas wind. Her name, at least the one the prison knew, was Rena Hale, but to a classified branch of the U.S. military, she had another identity. Lieutenant Serena Ghosthawk Hale, former Special Recon operator, one of the most elusive assets the military had ever produced. Her boot was pressed firmly on the chest of a muscular inmate lying unconscious beneath her. His tattooed body was motionless, his face slack with defeat. The crowd of prisoners murmured with disbelief. None of them had seen anything like this. A slim woman in cuffs, taking down a man twice her size, and doing it with surgical precision. Rena's breathing was steady. Her pulse unchanged. She looked calm, almost too calm for someone surrounded by more than 50 dangerous criminals. A distant thumping sound echoed from the sky, a military helicopter, not prison transport. Not scheduled, definitely hers. The inmates shifted uneasily. Rena didn't look up. She didn't need to. She already knew the extraction had begun. A bald, heavily tattooed inmate stepped forward. He was bigger than the others, a leader by presence alone. A giant phoenix tattoo spread across his chest that marked him as El Toro, the most feared gang commander inside Black Ridge. El Toro's down, one inmate whispered, staring at the unconscious man beneath Rena's boot. The tattooed leader narrowed his eyes at her, anger simmering behind them. "You think that was smart," he growled. "You think beating our man will save you." Rena tilted her head slightly, studying him. Her voice was calm, almost emotionless. "I didn't do it to save myself." The men exchanged glances, confusion flickering across their faces. "I did it," she continued, "because he touched me." A few inmates cursed under their breath. Respect was everything in here, and crossing boundaries, especially with someone in cuffs, carried consequences even among criminals. The leader's expression hardened. "So now what?" he asked. "You going to fight all of us, in handcuffs?" Rena's lips curved faintly, but it wasn't a smile. "You won't get the chance." The helicopter roar grew louder. Dust swirled across the yard. Guards on the towers shifted nervously, unsure if they should intervene or stay out of what seemed like a military operation far above their pay grade. Suddenly, a voice boomed through the prison speakers. All inmates down on the ground stayed down, but none of the inmates moved. Their eyes stayed locked on Rena, this mysterious woman who fought like a soldier but was dressed like one of them. The leader took a step forward. "What are you really?" he demanded. Rena slowly raised her cuffed hands behind her back, showing the metal restraints. "I'm someone who came here by choice," she whispered. The men froze. No one came to Black Ridge by choice. No one. The helicopter descended lower. Rena finally lifted her chin to the sky, her signal. In that instant, the prison yard exploded into chaos. A rope dropped from the helicopter. Armed U.S. Special Forces operators in black tactical suits rappelled down with lightning-fast precision. Their helmets glinted in the sun, their rifles locked and ready. "Inmates secured. Move," one of them shouted. The inmates instinctively backed away, their confidence evaporating under the cold, disciplined presence of elite soldiers. The leader stared at Rena in shock. "You're military." Rena stepped away from the unconscious man at her feet. They needed someone inside, she said quietly, and I needed answers. Before the inmates could react, two operators grabbed her arms and unlocked her cuffs with a magnetic military tool. She shook off the metal restraints like they were dust. Her face hardened, her eyes turning sharp and focused, the eyes of a trained predator. Part 1 is over, she said softly, and the real war begins now. The soldiers formed a protective formation around her as the helicopter lifted higher, kicking up another storm of dust. The inmates watched in stunned silence. The woman they thought was just another prisoner was actually the most dangerous person in the yard. The helicopter blades sliced the air as the extraction team lifted Rena Hale, now fully revealed as *** Lieutenant Serena Ghost Hawk. Hale, out of the prison yard, below, the inmates scattered like startled animals, shaken by what had just unfolded. The yard, once buzzing with danger, fell eerily silent. Serena held the rope tightly, body steady as she ascended. The storm of dust around her was violent but familiar. She'd extracted from far worse war zones. As soon as she reached the helicopter's skid, a gloved hand grabbed her wrist firmly. "Welcome back, Ghost Hawk," a deep voice said. It was Captain Cole Maddox, leader of Shadow Unit 7, an elite strike and recovery team operating under the Department of Defense. His expression was unreadable behind his visor, but she could feel the tension. "You were supposed to be in that prison for 3 weeks. Maddox said as he strapped her into the chopper. "You lasted 7 days. Serena wiped dust from her cheek. "I got what we needed." Maddox looked at her sharply. "And?" Serena's jaw tightened. "He's alive." Maddox froze for a heartbeat. "Your husband?" She nodded. The cabin fell silent. Serena Hale's marriage had been a mystery even to her own team. 2 years ago, her husband, Major Lucas Hale, decorated intelligence officer, vanished during a covert operation gone wrong. Officials reported him dead, but Serena never believed it. When whispers surfaced that a criminal syndicate inside Black Ridge had a connection to Lucas's disappearance, she personally volunteered to infiltrate as an inmate. Until now, all leads had been cold, but something she overheard in the prison changed everything. A single coded phrase spoken by the unconscious gang enforcer before she disabled him. "The Phoenix Man is still breathing." That was Lucas's field code name. Maddox broke the tense silence. "Ghost Hawk, you're saying he survived the Guatemala op?" Serena held his stare. "Yes." "And they're moving him." The helicopter turned sharply, heading toward a secure landing zone on the outskirts of Fort Bragg. Another operator, Ramirez, joined them. "What's the target location?" Serena exhaled deeply. The inmates kept mentioning a place called the Forge. "Underground, off the grid." They said that's where they take Phoenix Man for conditioning. Maddox swore under his breath. The Forge wasn't a place, it was a myth. A rumored black site facility used by rogue military contractors. If Lucas had been taken there, Serena pushed down the surge of emotion burning in her chest. "Focus, just focus." Ramirez handed her a headset. "You're going to want to hear this." Static crackled, then a voice, distorted, metallic, played through the comms. A prisoner had recorded it secretly, a voice Serena hadn't heard in 2 years. "Lucas. We held the line as long as we could. If you're hearing this, don't come for me. It's too dangerous. They're watching everything." Then a muffled scream, a door slam, silence. Serena clenched her fists until her knuckles turned white. Maddox lowered the headset. "You know this could be bait. It doesn't matter," she said quietly. "He's alive, and I'm going to find him." The helicopter descended toward the base. Vehicles were already preparing for deployment, soldiers moving with controlled urgency. As the team exited the chopper, Serena noticed a familiar face waiting, General Rowan Briggs, one of the most feared and respected leaders in U.S. covert operations. The general's icy gaze locked onto hers. "Lieutenant Hale," he said, "you've stirred up something massive. The department didn't authorize you to uncover this." Serena stepped closer, refusing to back down. "Sir, my husband is being held in a rogue black site. I'm not stopping." Briggs crossed his arms. "This isn't just about your husband anymore. The Forge is connected to a classified Project Emberfall. If we expose it, the fallout will be global." Serena's eyes hardened, then let it fall. Briggs leaned in, lowering his voice. "You have no idea who you're fighting." Serena snapped back, "Then show me." For the first time, a faint smile touched the general's lips. "Good," he said, "because Shadow Unit 7 is rolling out at dawn." Maddox turned to her. "You're in full gear, full authority this time. No cuffs." Serena nodded. The mission wasn't just another covert op. It was deeply personal. It was vengeance. It was truth. It was survival. It was war. Dawn broke over Fort Bragg, its pale light cutting across rows of armored vehicles and black-clad operators preparing for deployment. Engines hummed, weapons clicked, and the heavy scent of anticipation thickened the cold morning air. Serena Hale stood in the center of it all, no longer a disguised inmate, no longer a ghost in a prison yard. She now wore her true skin, U.S. military tactical gear, Black Ops grade, with her name stitched above her chest. Her eyes were colder, sharper, and burning with purpose. Captain Cole Maddox approached, handing her a data tablet displaying a topographical layout. "Satellite scans confirm it," he said. "The Forge is real, and we found it." The screen revealed a location deep in Utah's desert, an abandoned mining complex retrofitted into a sprawling underground network. Briggs joined them, his tone grave. "We launch in 10. Intel says Lucas was moved last night. If we're fast enough, we catch them mid-transfer." Serena nodded. She strapped her rifle to her chest, checked her sidearm, tightened her gloves. "We go loud?" she asked. Maddox smirked. "We go very loud." The Desert Assault Black Hawks thundered across the Utah sky, their rotors kicking up dust storms visible from miles away. Behind them, 2 Osprey aircraft carried ground assault teams. As they neared the target, shimmering heat waves revealed the jagged mouth of the abandoned mine. Teams, green light in 30 seconds. Maddox's voice boomed over the headset. Serena closed her eyes for a moment. "Lucas, hold on." The aircraft dropped fast. "Go, go, go." Operators slid down ropes, boots slamming against rocky ground. Snipers took positions on ridges while breachers rushed the steel blast doors embedded in the mine entrance. The first explosion shattered the desert silence. A second explosion tore the doors open. "Shadow Unit 7, move." The team surged into the darkness. Inside the Forge, what looked abandoned from the outside transformed into a labyrinth of modern metal corridors, cold blue lights, and humming servers deeper inside. Serena scanned the area, adrenaline sharpening every sense. "This place isn't a black site," Ramirez muttered. "It's a damned underground city." They reached a chamber lined with reinforced cells. Serena's heart hammered, then she heard it, a weak cough, a familiar voice. "Serena," she froze. Behind reinforced glass, gaunt but alive, sat Major Lucas Hale, beard overgrown, eyes exhausted, but unmistakably him. "Lucas," she whispered. He pressed his trembling hand to the glass. "You shouldn't have come." Serena lifted her rifle and barked, "Maddox, open it." Before Maddox could move, a loud mechanical snap echoed, red lights flared, an alarm blared. A distorted voice boomed from overhead speakers. "Extraction protocol initiated. Terminate all assets." Doors slammed shut throughout the complex. Then the sound came. Heavy boots. A squad of black-armored mercenaries flooded the hallway, weapons raised. Contact. Maddox shouted. Gunfire exploded through the chamber. Serena dove behind a support pillar, firing controlled bursts. Maddox and Ramirez covered the corridor, their shots precise and deadly. But these mercenaries weren't ordinary soldiers. They fought like trained operators, fast, coordinated, lethal. Serena rolled out, shot one cleanly in the knee, another in the visor. A mercenary charged her with a combat knife. She ducked, snapped his wrist, and slammed him to the ground. "Lucas," she yelled, "get down." The firefight raged like a storm until the last mercenary fell. Breathing heavy, Serena turned to Maddox. "Blow the lock." Ramirez planted a charge on the reinforced cell door. Fire in the hole. The explosion tore the door apart, and Serena rushed inside, dropping to her knees beside Lucas. He cupped her face with weak hands. "I knew you'd come," he whispered. Serena swallowed hard. "I'm not losing you again." Maddox's voice cut in sharply. "Move, more hostiles incoming." Lucas leaned heavily on Serena as she helped him up. He could barely stand. His ribs were bruised, body thin from weeks of captivity. They pushed through the corridors, fighting through waves of mercenaries. The forge rumbled around themselves, destruct charges detonating deeper inside the facility. Serena radioed Shadow 7, extraction point. "Copy, bird inbound." A pilot replied. They burst out of the mine entrance just as the mountain behind them erupted in a fireball. Heat washed over Serena's back. A Black Hawk descended, rope lines dropping. Ramirez went up first. Maddox covered them from below. Serena wrapped Lucas's arms around her neck. "Hold on," she whispered. Then they lifted off. The ground below vanished as the chopper soared higher. Explosions rippled across the mine. The forge collapsed into flaming debris. Lucas rested his forehead against hers. "You saved me." Serena exhaled shakily, resting her hand on his cheek. "No," she said softly. "I brought you home." The sun rose over the desert, casting golden light over the aircraft as it sped toward safety. The mission was over. But the war that caused it, the conspiracy behind Project Emberfall, was just beginning.